All right, I'm back with chapter 3 of Nancy Clancy, the Super Sleuth. And chapter 3, the plot thickens. And right here you can see a picture of Nancy and, Bree there. So, what is Rhonda scared I'll find out? What secret has Wanda been keeping? Nancy made her voice go soft and spooky. It's the secret of the twins, she giggled. Doesn't sound like a Nancy Drew mystery. The girls were in Nancy's backyard at Sleuth headquarters. When they grow up, they plan to open a detective agency together. It would be called Partners in Crime Fighting. They had made superb business cards already. Maybe Rhonda spread a mean rumor about you, Bree said, like you smell or have cooties. Rhonda's my friend. What motive would she have? Ooh la la! Nancy felt a tingling just saying the word motive. It meant the reason for doing something bad. Well, Bree drew the word out, like she was thinking really hard. Maybe you did something mean to Rhonda and she's paying you back. Nancy shook her head. I didn't do anything. Maybe it's something you don't even realize you did, but it got Rhonda mad, really mad. And so now Rhonda is seeking revenge, Nancy added. Bree nodded. Double ooh la la. Nancy's eyes lit up. There was something thrilling about this idea. Maybe she's set up a booby trap to get me. Nancy pictured Rhonda digging a deep hole in her backyard, covering it. And here's the... with grass and branches. As soon as Nancy walked over to it, she plunged into darkness. No one would hear her cries for help. Suddenly, Nancy heard her mother calling. Nancy, are you in the clubhouse? Nancy stuck her head out. Mom, I told you before, it's not our clubhouse anymore. It's Sleuth headquarters. Sorry, I forgot. Have you finished your paragraph for tomorrow? Not exactly, Nancy answered. Have you started it? Not exactly. Bree, I'm afraid you'll have to go home. And Nancy's mother pointed to the house, get cracking. Nancy headed down to her room. Nancy Drew was so lucky. She never had to drop a case because of homework. Tomorrow, Nancy and all the other kids in class had to bring in something special. A memento was what her teacher, Mr. Dundee, had called it. The memento couldn't be a video game or a new pair of sneakers. A memento needed to be something personal, like a photo of a dead person in your family from long ago. Write a paragraph about what a memento means to you, but don't sign your name, Mr. Dundee said. Keep it a secret. We'll have fun guessing who each memento belongs to. Oh, so there'll be mystery mementos, Nancy said. Exactly. I'm bringing something too. Then on Tuesday, all the mystery mementos will be on display for Family Day. Nancy planned to bring the witch tree symbol, which was a Nancy Drew book. It was special because long ago it belonged to Nancy's neighbor, Mrs. Devine. On the cover, Nancy Drew looked different. Her clothes and hairdo were old-fashioned. The only problem was that Nancy wanted her memento to be unique, something nobody else had. What if Bree's mystery memento was the Nancy Drew book that Mrs. Devine had given her? Bree had already written her paragraph a few days ago. She never left homework for the last minute. So Nancy sent a message to Bree in their top secret special delivery mailbox. It was a basket on a rope strung between Nancy's bedroom window and Bree's. What's your memento? She wrote with a message in a secret code only the two of them knew. They needed a secret code if one of them was ever in danger and had to send for help. Nancy rang a bell to let Bree know the mail was coming. And here's their little thing that they use to send their messages back and forth. Then she pulled the rope until the basket reached Bree's window. A few minutes later, a message came back. Bree's was in secret code too. It took Nancy a while to understand it. In secret code, that was called deciphering a message. Bree had written, "Sorry, Mr. D told us not to tell." So you can see they have a bunch of jumbled letters here, and they wrote a secret code, a message in a secret code, and then, down here, they have their secret code for what it means. Oh, Bree could be exasperating sometimes. Nancy thought about writing another message, but writing in code took so long. Of course, she could just pick up the phone or open the window and shout. Nancy would say, "Can you just tell me if you're bringing a Nancy Drew book? And I'm only asking because I don't want to bring the same thing." But it wouldn't do any good. Bree was obstinate, and that meant stubborn. In the end, Nancy decided to bring in a sparkling chunk of rock that looked like gold. She wanted the kids to have a hard time figuring out who it belonged to. So when she wrote her paragraph, Nancy disguised her handwriting. This glittering rock is called pyrite. Another name for it is fool's gold. That's because it looks like genuine gold. Long ago, in the days of yore, miners would find a chunk and think they had struck it rich. The joke was on them. Pyrite is not worth a lot of money, but is still magnificent. I chose this memento because it was a present from my best friend Bree. She bought it in a gift shop at a famous science museum in New York City. It was quite a superb paragraph, if Nancy did say so herself. She had used vivid, interesting words, and her teacher would like that. Then something caught Nancy's eye. In one of the sentences, there was a dead giveaway. Everyone would know Nancy had written it. Quickly, she erased the words, my best friend Bree. Instead, she wrote, an acquaintance of mine. Nancy put the rock and her paragraph in her backpack. Not even 5 minutes later, the mail bell rang again. Bree's message said, I just saw the twins drive off with their parents. We can go back and snoop in their yard. So here was the letter, or the paragraph that Nancy wrote. Maybe we'll find the booby trap. Nancy grabbed her trench coat. Bree was already waiting for her on the sidewalk. Bree whistled on the way over to the twins' house. Whistling was a superb detective skill. It made it seem like they were just out for some fresh air. No one would ever suspect that they were snooping. At a first glance, the twins' yard looked the same as it had this morning. Grass, trees, a swing set in the back, lots of sports stuff everywhere. Nancy, however, was very observant. That meant she noticed stuff that other people didn't. Noticing stuff was also a superb detective skill. It kind of made up for not being able to whistle. What Nancy noticed now was a pile of branches near the swing set. Bree, look, a clue. I bet those branches are left over from when Rhonda made the booby trap. Bree clutched Nancy's arm. Oh, I'm getting chills. A couple of large leaf rakes were on the porch. I have an idea, Nancy said. By pushing the rakes in front of them, up and down the yard, the girls would stop at the hidden trap before either of them fell into it. Unfortunately, the yard was pretty big. They hadn't covered much ground until they heard a car, and it was pulling into the twins' driveway. Bree and Nancy dropped the rakes and scrambled. They ran through the lilac bushes in between the twins' house and Mrs. Devine's. They dashed across Mrs. Devine's yard, wiggled through the hedge that separated her yard from Nancy's, and hid inside headquarters. Whew! That was a close call, but they were safe. They had collapsed onto the beanbag chairs. You really think there's a booby trap? Bree asked. She sounded doubtful now. More and more, I'm sure of it. We need to take a search of that whole yard. But let's sneak back under cover of darkness. That meant at night, but sounded way more dangerous. They'd have to use flashlights. There'd be spooky night noises. Nancy could picture it all. We're not allowed out after dark, Bree pointed out. Nancy knew that. She just didn't want to be reminded of that. Not right now. It was more fun picturing the two of them sneaking around in the dark. Nancy sighed. It's awfully difficult to be a glamorous detective when your bedtime was 8:30. And there's the girls raking in the backyard, trying to figure out what was going on in the yard. Chapter 4. Mysterious Mementos. So they're going to be at school, and they're going to be learning about what each person brought. I can't wait to hear what Chapter 4 is tomorrow.